We grew up in Melbourne, in Northcote, actually. Yeah.
Because I feel like I hear New Zealand in your accent.
People have said that. I don't know why. It's really rare. Yeah. We did spend a lot of time in nature, and it comes into our songwriting as well. Like, I don't think that gives you New Zealand accent.
Do you ever get aroused, or are you the type of sisters that are just insane?
Absolutely. Oh, we definitely do. We do. But like half an hour later, after we've had our, that's true, downtime, then we come back and we're fine. So yeah, we also live together and have toured for months, which is actually more intense than living with someone. Same hotel room every night. It's just 4 months also.
It seems like you're not sick of each other.
Not quite. Not quite. Almost. Maybe.
Yeah.
Left that city on the morning flight, and right then you decided I wasn't in your life any longer, like you'd be stronger. All those years I've known how to feel when you met my eyes under the simple sky above my tangled mind. I'll finally wake up making my mind up, making it clean cut. Strangers we made, now the chains we've laid down, making it clean cut. A clean cut, a clean cut, making a clean cut. A clean cut, a clean cut, making a clean cut. Here it's summer with a winter view. Is your mind as blue or some prettier hue, like the red leaves burning, cold in the evening? Your arms held my breathing, the calm returning when the deep blue met my eyes under the simple sky above my quiet mind. I'll finally wake up making my mind up, making it clean cut. Strangers we've made, now the chains we've laid down, making it clean cut. I'll finally wake up making my mind up, making it clean cut. Strangers we've made, now the chains we've laid down, making it clean cut. A clean cut, a clean cut, making a clean cut. A clean cut, a clean cut, making a clean cut. A clean cut, a clean cut, making a clean cut. A clean cut, a clean cut, making a clean cut.
Sometimes I'll start a song and then bring it to Mabel and we'll finish it together, or vice versa. More recently, we've been trying to write just together, start it together, and sort of experiment with different ways of writing songs. Like, do we start with the guitar, or do we start with recording something and looping it? There's that flow state that when you get it, you're like, you kind of have to work to get to it sometimes.
Yeah.
But we often set aside a week or two of like writing retreat. So we'll go somewhere beautiful, often in nature, and just like have that as the time where we're going to write songs and just exploring creatively and seeing what happens. We're very inspired by nature. When we did record in Nova Scotia, it was the middle of winter, so much snow. There was a frozen lake at the doorstep of the studio that we were staying in for a whole month and recording in.
Does the frozen lake create frozen lake songs? Does the bush songs?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I think that album Marlinton in the Snow is very snowy and wintry. And we actually, for one of the songs which we wrote there, have you ever heard it, the lake when it cracks? A frozen lake.
Have I heard it literally?
Yeah,
No.
It bounces off all the sides of the lake, and I'm not going to try and imitate it.
I was going to say.
But this is what we tried to do in the studio. So Ivy tried to make the sound. What's your hauntings? Yeah, that didn't make it into the album.
I'm always interested about like what a producer adds to music, and how do you know that's the right person?
What Dan did really well is brought his musical background to come and mesh with ours and sort of bring some cool outside ideas that we wouldn't have come up with ourselves. Yeah, we met him at Clients International, which is like this crazy music conference where there are showcases of different artists from around the world. Then everyone plays and goes and watches each other at all hours of the night. Yeah.
Very still. Sounds like
5 days.
Speed dating for musicians and producers.
Basically, and then COVID happened and we were like, oh, so what are we going to do? We made an album from our home. So we recorded everything and then sent him all the files. And that was the first album we made with him. Yeah, it was super collaborative. That was very back and forth. Yeah, in the past we were a lot more like, we will do everything. We will play every instrument and we will pre-arrange all of the parts before we go to the studio. But for this album we were like, let's just see what happens.
Can't get through, and I call out to the void of you, and I know that you're somewhere far away, but the louder I call, the longer you tend to stay. The city pillars reach up to the surface, weighted down in the darkened depths. Will you feel relics and stones, rust and ruins, a city where no one goes, where no one goes. Atlantis holds you close, a city far below. Scaly skin, the gold has a way of creeping in. Voiceless mouths, unseeing eyes, no one hears your cries in the city of disguise. Breathing, heaving, heavy on your chest, tightness clenching, searching for rest. Even in these watery fells, there's a beauty where the darkness dwells. The darkness dwells. Atlantis holds you close. I see down. Atlantis holds you down. Shoulda dove down, shoulda dove down, shoulda dove, 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 shoulda dove down, shoulda dove down, shoulda dove.
We both went to Steiner School, which is an alternative schooling where you learn a lot of mythology, and every year is based around a different mythology
That's incredible.
from a different part of the world. There are a lot of stories from different places floating around our brains, and I think that was one of them that came to the surface at that time.
What else did you learn at that school?
We learnt our instruments when we were 8 years old. Yeah, I learnt violin and Mabel had cello. That's her first instrument.
Does cello make it onto the songs ever?
In the recordings.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love to record and arrange our own string parts for all of the recordings.
And do you, write your own string arrangements?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It's fun.
And so this school, was it like music theory or was it more like music appreciation?
Everything. There was theory. Definitely. There was all sorts of very good if you're creatively inclined, which actually I think everyone is, but lots of painting and lots of drawing, and music and singing every day is.
How much math?
That was fun. And I won't say it's my strong. We started very young, actually. This band was when I was 11 and Mabel was 14. It was a school project. It was a school. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, I've written these songs and I want to record them. And we had a friend who had a recording set up and he was like, we'll record your songs, and Ivy jumped on the harmonies and then we started writing together. And what was going to be like a little school project ended up being like a proper CD release where we crowdfunded the first EP the best we could and had a little launch, and then we just kind of got addicted, I think. And our weekends were not weekends, they were gigs.
Too bad you found me. Look in my eyes and you know every thought, every feeling, you got it right the first go. By the glow of the TV, the cat purrs in the corner, you got your eyes on me, and the show's not over. I can't help myself saying I did my best. When the light shines in, we can deal with this mess. I can't help myself. I did my best. I can't help myself. I did my best. Too bad I saw you, wasn't right and I knew. You held me close, a little closer, said run away like a bodysuit. We ran down the 9 mile, salt sticking to my shoes. You held me under the clear water, a little longer than you should. I can't help myself saying I did my best. When the light shines in, we can deal with this mess. I can't help myself. I did my best. I can't help myself. I did my best. could make you honest, but I still fall your way. Cynic, a liar, but nothing I do or say could make you honest, but I still fall your way. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I did my best.
We get to travel so much with our music. Touring, done a lot of touring over in the UK and Europe and Canada as well. Yeah, just being able to have this as our job and travel with it is pretty special. And I think wherever we go, we find inspiration and we meet really cool musicians from around the world, and we hear them play and we're like, oh my God, there's great things to explore musically everywhere. Yeah, when you do the things and you go out into the world, all the inspiration, it's just endless. Yeah. The music that we absorbed, especially as children and then growing up, has all just kind of come together in a bit of a melting pot. Like, we grew up listening to a lot of folk music, Americana and Celtic music. Yeah. And so we love lots of that, lots of different stuff. And then when we kind of got a bit older, we had some of the more like, modern, contemporary and modern music. And Bob Dylan was huge, and because our dad he's obsessed. It just all comes together.
Sounds like you don't intellectualize the process too much. You sort of let it flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
About what we did when we were kids. We asked each other stupid questions, talked about the silly things. If only it could always be like this. We followed the path round the coast in the sunshine. We couldn't help but hold me to you close. Touched me, I felt an aching fear of losing, fear of breaking. Took a while for that feeling to go. We both knew we were just treading water, eventually drown each other. Grab hold of you, pull you under. Mine's already the bluest color. It's now I remember all of the best times, like when we camped under stars when we first met. We climbed a hill to those abandoned trams, laid together underneath the pines, and skinny dipped in the river as the sun set. And in all of the pictures that we're together smiling, we both held our own wounds deep in our chests. Sometimes we wanted to scream aloud, but it's easier to shut them out than risk breaking how many woven threads. We both knew we were just treading water, eventually drown each other, grab hold of you, pull you under. Mine's already the bluest color. What do you want to call this great things? It's someone who is still breathing, smoldering, aching, fear of leaving, pitiful, lonely, helpless feelings, swim between numbness, body heaving. Try to ignore my fault of breathing.
I think it's like exploration for me. Like we explored physically out in the world, in these beautiful environments. We started the year in New Zealand, first time we'd ever been there, and yeah, that was incredible. And also that same time we started recording for potentially that could be the beginning of the new album. We are about to go to Scotland for a fair while to record and to create our next record, and just be there and soak up the music that seems to just be so vibrant in Glasgow, which is a place that we went to last year when we were on tour, and we just kept going there because it was just so fun and inspiring for us. So we're going to just be there for a bit, see, what happens, what we create.
Awesome. My sister lands in Glasgow in like 90 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So if you bump into
No way. That's cool. Yeah, just music for me is just about like expressing something that's truthful for you. And that when I do that, I feel like I've accomplished something.
We're gonna do an upbeat song about dying alone, if that's all right.
On that note, we'll leave you at that. We're Charm of Finches, and thanks for watching.
Wish I had a little map of stars to make all my decisions for me, but all the compasses and charts couldn't sway this valiant heart, beating on its own trajectory. I wish I had a great sword made of steel to combat all the demons in the night, but all the weapons in the armory couldn't win this awful fight against this worrying rampant mind of mine. So I'll have to go on my own. So I'll have to go on my own, on my own. For after wish I had a wise owl on my shoulder to advise me the most elegant of words, but not the wisest sage on earth, nor the worldliest of birds. Couldn't show that my tongue ran the right course, so I'll have to go on my own. So I'll have to go on my own. For after all, we know we all die alone. So I'll have to go on my own, all on my own. So I'll have to go on my own. So I'll have to go on my own. For after all, we know we all die alone. So I'll have to go on my own, all on my own. Oh, I wish I had a little map of stars to make all my decisions for me, but all the compasses and charts couldn't sway this valiant heart, beating on its own trajectory.